Major Music.
You wanna pay, speak in my mind, say what I wanna say. Freedom ain't free, tell me what you wanna pay. Black in America, we used to it every day.
Yeah, I think the big thing is the quarantine files, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's the latest,
Yeah,
man.
that's the latest. Kind of speak on that a little bit. I checked it out. It was cool, and I just kind of wanted to know why did you drop that? What was your reasoning behind that?
It was so like I always kind of like to say that it was kind of almost a part two of a earlier album I had this year, which is called MPH, and
Mm-hmm.
what what this album was probably like I would say out of the 10 tracks or so, I probably had two of those recorded at the end of the last album I dropped. So I just kind of kept on doing that. I kept on
Mm-hmm.
recording, and one of the reasons behind it was when I started, a lot of the stuff, as far as the social unrest started going on across the
Mm-hmm.
country. So one of the first songs I wrote after that was Every Day, which kind of raps about some of those social issues. And
Mm-hmm.
then from there, it probably summarizes like life in a nutshell for me personally in 2020 being quarantined, whether that's, my personal life or just social unrest or, just anything else in between.
That's good, man. Wow, that is that's a great kind of like backstory to it, and I wasn't really expecting that, but that's super dope to hear.
Appreciate it,
And
man. Yeah.
how's the feedback been, or kind of like the response from the people who have tuned in on it?
It's been pretty good so far. Another reason like I came out with the project because I kind of felt there was a lot of good momentum from my first album. And what
Mm-hmm.
happened was a lot of those people hung around and just to see what I was coming out with next, and I think that kind of helped, just as far as striking while the iron was hot, I guess in other words.
Yeah,
So I did a really good
absolutely.
job of that.
Yeah, wow, that's dope. So, what do you kind of see 6 months from now? Are you gonna keep striking the iron, or are you kind of gonna go back to the lab and just kind of start on new ideas?
Well, actually, I've got some plans to start off 2021. I'm going to be shooting some videos for the Quarantine Files album starting next month.
Okay.
Probably gonna shoot 2 to 3 videos. The first one's gonna be for Chill Vibes, so I expect that one probably to be out sometime mid to late January, depending on when we decide to shoot. And then
Okay.
at the same time of that, which is going to be kind of completely weird for me because I've never done this before, but
Mm-hmm.
there's another project I've been working on probably a year in the making, which with another artist by the name of MA, and we're gonna release that one in February. But we're gonna also start shooting some of the videos next month too. So it's like I'm gonna be kind of
Dope.
shooting videos for two projects at one time.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Things in the works, then. Things in the works, working. That's what's up. So that the collab project, is that going to be kind of a producer artist collab, or is it kind of a mix of both? Kind of, if you can, kind of get some details on that.
It is actually going to be a mix of both, because this was, originally, MA, I produced some of his albums in the past, and um, I had approached him probably about a year and a half ago or so,
Hmm.
and about doing this project. But my intention when I asked him to do the project was to do it as a producer artist type
Hmm.
project.
Hmm.
But he asked me after that if I wanted to do it as an artist with him along, doing the production as well. So, I said, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. And we actually knocked out a good portion of the project already. but we're gonna record some more tracks in the coming weeks. So we're gonna wrap it up probably by the end of next month.
Dope, dope. And on that one right there, is that all iOS based production and recording?
It's probably gonna be half and half, to be honest. A lot of it like were some beats that I'd already made, kind of from both avenues, but this is gonna be mainly just kind of like on the whole social issue vibe, kind of like with Everyday and a lot of the other like social conscious records that I've done.
Okay, okay. And so the artist, you're going to be collabing with, is he kind of hip to the iOS wave, or is he more of just artist solely?
Just more of the artist solely.
Okay.
Just they've just had a really good relationship over the years, and I've produced a lot of records for them, going back probably 7, 8 years or so.
Oh wow. Okay. Wow, that's dope. And so what's kind of been new iOS wise, or what's kind of been your go-to staples as of recently? Because I've been, removed now. It's been officially 1 year since I've been, a bit removed from iOS production. We talked about it before. I'm strictly Logic now. But kind of what's been in your rotation recently for iOS? Because even though I'm not in the iOS game really like that anymore, it's always dope to hear what's shaking and moving.
It's been actually like I've been spending more time on Mac recently. But I mean for iOS, I've been using a lot of like Beatmaker still and Core Gadget and Cubasis
Yep.
as well. Now there is something I haven't got yet, but I've been watching a lot of videos on it, and it's called the Mix Box from IK Multimedia. And for any producers out there looking for a really like legitimate mixing and mastering suite, this is it right here. And
Mixbox. Okay, so would you say even going past the Pro Q Fab filter kind of stuff, going beyond that?
yeah, and I say that only because like it's a whole mixing suite of like 70 plus different processors, EQs,
Oh wow.
compressors, limiters, whatever you think of. Think of like one of those big waves bundles, but made
Yeah,
for an
yeah.
iPad.
I got a few waves tools in my Logic right now, and they definitely work wonders.
Yeah, and like the Fat Filter plugins are cool, but they're all 30, not $30 a pop. And
Yeah, I remember dropping that, and I was
yeah,
like, "What am I doing? This is the iPad," but I still did it, and I didn't buy them on Mac just because they are very, very expensive, and the stock Logic EQ definitely puts in work. But it's cool. It's a cool app for sure.
yeah, and it's like I mean, I've been kind of doing that, but like I got a new Mac probably 3 days ago, and
Oh, did
I
you get the one with the new M1 chip?
I did get the one with the M1. I did get
Oh,
the one.
I bought an iMac probably a few months ago because my MacBook Pro, I did a software update and it killed it. It was one of those older i7 MacBook Pros and it died unfortunately. So I went out and got the big boy 27-inch one,
Yeah.
and then it came out a few months later that these M1 Macs are dropping, and you can have like 50 tracks with 50 plugins, and it doesn't even sweat it. But it's cool. We can just wait. But that's lucky, man. How's that been so far? Has it been a beast?
Yeah, man. And, I came off of a 2013 iMac with an i5, and that I was so frustrated. Like, there are a lot of people that saying they want to wait to see what Apple comes out with next year later on, which is justifiably so. But
Which is cool. It's the
I
first
couldn't.
generation of those.
Yeah, yeah, and I couldn't take it much longer. So I was like, let me go ahead, try it out. And I mean, so far, like, I know there's a lot of concerns as far as software and plug-in
Yeah,
compatibility.
compatibility. Yep.
There are some things that like isotope plugins, for example. Not all, but there are some like Neutron. I use Neutron a lot, and that one's not ready yet to go on the
Oh yeah,
M1.
that's a staple in the isotope lineup for
Yeah,
sure.
man. And outside of that though, like I produce a lot of machine that's ready to go. That ironically
Mm.
started last week. And
Hmm.
also the MPC is funny. So the software runs. However,
Mm-hmm.
the MPC one and the M1 computer is not, they're not communicating with each other just quite yet. So hopefully they
Mm.
fix that. But outside
Yeah.
of that,
Yeah.
it's been pretty good. I mean, it feels good to have a computer that doesn't freeze up on you, and I can make beats,
Yeah.
a lot more efficiently now.
I mean, definitely at I5, you're a bit restricted because, me, I even on my 27-inch, I got an i7, and it's pretty nice. It's got 16 gigs of RAM. It's all solid state drive. But when I really start stacking, like for example, Waves J37, it's an emulation of the Abbey Roads tape machine. When I start adding like J37, the SSL G bus compressor from Waves, along with like all these like ADDA converters on the buses, it starts like starts kind of freezing up. You hear the fans start kicking on a little bit. But that M1, I watched a YouTube channel and they put on, I think it was like 50 plugins on 50 different tracks and had them all playing at once, and that CPU meter was barely moving. It just blew me away. It absolutely blew me away.
Yeah, man, it is very surprising. Like, I haven't done anything really intensive on it yet, but just loading like machine plugins and
Mm-hmm.
loading some of the kits, it's just a night and day difference from what I'm used to. So I look forward to, as more and more things become more compatible to see where it goes.
Mm. Now, I heard you talking on Core Gadget earlier when we were on the iOS production, and that one I really loved a lot because I really appreciated the uniqueness of some of Core Gadget's characteristics, including the Vancouver sampler. Have you ever tapped into that thing?
Yes and no, I haven't, but I haven't used it much out of like a lot of the stock sounds in it, and
Mm-hmm.
it is pretty dope. I have to explore it much more though.
Yeah, I think it's up there in like my favorite samplers for sure because I did one of my first beat tapes on Spotify. It's called Sunday Tapes. It's not looking back, it's not my best work, because I was still getting used to my iOS workflow and everything. But I appreciate my ideas I had. I used a sample from it was a Spokane church. It was a vinyl from like I think '69 or '70, and it was the preacher talking, and I ran it through Vancouver, and the way it just chopped it and pitched it, I haven't heard anything like that from another sampler since. It kind of kills me that it's just only Core Gadget. I can't get it by itself.
Yeah, man. I wish, and they may eventually do that, but what Korg has done um, on iOS is some of their plugins they've made available as synthesizers,
Yeah.
and they've done things like the the mini log and a couple of their other
Yeah.
plugins. I think they're
I
actually
copped
doing it.
the M1. I copped the M1 on iOS, and then when I got on Mac, I found like one of my very first things I bought as a VSC was Korg Triton. And I still get busy
Yep.
with that today.
And there's
It's
like the
amazing.
Electribe, the iMon now. So
Mm-hmm.
it's all coming slowly but surely. Hopefully they'll do all the other ones as well.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, what's kind of been on your recent listening rotation? Any new releases or oldies, but they've been in the new rotation?
It's a little both. I've been listening to that Recession 2 from Jeezy. I like that.
Okay.
Um, Also I've been listening to a lot of like currency. He had that new Welcome to Jet Light compilation came out with
Hmm.
recently. That's pretty hot. And let's see what else. I got an old school playlist of stuff I used to listen to like back in like high school and my
Hmm.
20s and stuff like that. And I just kind of like to go back there and get some ideas. And, most people, when they listen to my music, kind of say I got that old school production style. So,
Hmm.
it just
Hmm.
kind of gives me that inspiration.
Yeah, cool. I've been kind of on the old school. I've been listening to some new school. I mean, some new school. I've been hearing the new Jack Harlow album. I thought it was cool. I thought he definitely held it down for his first album. I checked out the Man on the Moon 3 by Kid Cudi. Hot take, I didn't think it was the strongest work, but I can appreciate it. But I've really been rocking tough with the War Report of Capone and Noriega.
Oh, yeah.
That has been it recently. And Furious Anger Shaheem, executive produced by the RZA. Those have been big in the playlist recently.
Man, you mentioned the RZA. I've been listening to some of that first Wu-Tang that Return to the 36 Chambers.
Oh, yeah. Uh
Yeah.
huh. Uh huh.
And
It's hard.
man, like I said, man, I gotta take it back every once in a while and just get some of that whole 90s vibe going. It's
Hmm.
just good for my creativity.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think what I've really been appreciating, I think the big one was from Shaheem's project was the track Furious Anger, and it's Shaheem and Big L.
Yeah.
And that beat is so amazing. And I was breaking down the samples, and RZA sampled it was like three different songs to make one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the yeah, and so just hearing things like that kind of spark my creativity for future releases, because you can get kind of stuck in this box of loops online or just making simple chord progressions with a VST like Triton. But rather than, why don't we take these elements from all these different places and make something unique, like what RZA did?
Man, I've kind of tried that. Never could do it like aggressive, but it's good to experiment sometimes, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because you might find a sound that can break off into something new.
Word.
Hmm. Now, kind of a headline recently I've been seeing these past few days. I don't know if you got anything on it, but Lil Wayne selling his masters for 100 million,
I heard
and
about
that's
that.
including Drake's and Nicki Minaj's work from 2018 and before.
Word. Wow.
I I think he kind of fumbled the bag with that one.
Yeah. I mean, his whole catalog is,
It's crazy.
definitely worth something, but like, is he done like rapping forever? Like, he ain't gonna add nothing else to that, or is
That's what I'm thinking too. Because he finally, not that long ago, got to do the Carter Five after that big dispute with Birdman, and so now it's just he's selling everything for 100 M's, and now what? Does that include future work as well? What kind of deal is this? I don't know.
man? We'll see, man. That'll be interesting to see. How it comes off for him. I mean, he's already filthy rich as is, but like,
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder somewhere in there, like, is he done like with selling all his masters? How is that gonna work out, like royalty wise? Like, is he gonna be giving
Yeah.
up some of that too, or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because his releases aren't stale. I believe the Carter Five was projected selling somewhere around 500,000 units, which most rappers don't touch. I mean, that Jack Harlow album I was recently talking about did like 40 or 50. So it's not like people are just not rocking with his music anymore. So for me, when I read it and kind of got the details, I just thought it was a strange case.
Yeah, I gotta read
But
more into it because I wanna see more of the details and what that looks like.
yeah, no, definitely. Now, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Spotify has recently put out that they're creating a algorithm that's going to detect sampling and copyright issues. You seen anything about that?
I think I've heard something about that.
I'm worried. I'm a little worried. I'm sweating. Cause I'm not gonna snitch, but there's definitely some work out there hasn't been cleared, and I think this might be a blow to a lot of artists and creatives. I'm really not really sure who it's gonna help in the long run.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt. I mean, and there's gonna there's basically gonna be so many layers to this because you got to think of avenues like oh, I can't think of this site, but it's kind of like Splice and Sounds, but it's more for like licensing. Why am I drawing a blank? Anyhow, you can get your samples or your loops, full songs off of this website, and it allows you to purchase the clearance or the licensing on that website. So I'm
Hmm.
wondering, like, what's going to be the like, is that going to factor into what they do on Spotify as far as um being able to regulate samples and things of that nature?
Right. Yeah. Because all my previous work, like I'm gonna say Clockwork NPC, for example, the instrumental project I put out this year, I had to clear quite a few samples. Um, and quite a few of them was just like a publishing split along with a little money up front and just like a small document because I used some like 90s underground Memphis stuff that was never really, I guess, signed to any major labels, but still going out of my way to contact the original creators to make sure everything was cool. When putting that up on Spotify, they didn't ask me for that info. So let's say this new system comes out, and let's say a sample I use, for example, in Clockwork NPC, DJ Zerk, Too Thick. Now, if that gets flagged, are they going to take down Clockwork, even though I got that legality behind it? So it's confusing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're gonna make you like, let's say when you upload your album, if they're gonna make you upload some kind of agreement or how that's gonna work, but it'll be real
Hmm.
interesting to see.
Yeah, definitely. Did you also, since we're speaking on the Spotify news, they're now having the option to have your music promoted and picked up by the algorithm for exchange of lower payouts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I it's interesting,
Mm-hmm.
because I could see one side of it for an artist that wants to have more exposure on one hand, but let's say you eventually get to a point where you don't need that exposure. Is that something more so that you can back out of, or will you
Mm-hmm.
always get like lower payouts? That's kind of one
And
of
the
the things I
big
want
thing
to look.
is, I can't find any info on it. They're not disclaiming it. So it seems a bit in the shadows.
They pay low anyway, so I don't know. It could be worse.
Yeah, them payouts are already crazy, bro. When I check my royalty statements every month, I'm just like, yeah, it's cool. I appreciate everybody streaming and, running it up, but it's like, damn, you know.
You even got major artists complaining about their
Mm-hmm.
payouts, which is you work hard releasing this music, man, and
Mm-hmm.
they
Yeah,
need to
you
pay
put
out more.
everything into it.
And some artists they'll do really well with other avenues like Bandcamp. So
Yeah.
Bandcamp's not good for me these days, but that's if you know how to market yourself and you can, spread to your audience and things like that, Bandcamp is really good.
Hmm. Yeah, most definitely. I've never merged into the Bandcamp lane myself, but I don't know. I feel like if Spotify just kind of, it seems, I know they don't want to push away the artists, and I know they want the artists and all the new music, but it's just like when you're a creator and you see these things, it kind of doesn't leave the best taste in your mouth with these companies.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's tough sometimes because on one hand, a lot of the artists that are succeeding learning how to market themselves, but outside of that, some artists have really great music and they don't
Hmm.
know how to market themselves, and that kind of affects a lot of things like streaming and
Hmm.
Spotify.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just have to really see what the future holds. And 2020, I'm really glad it's over. I'm really excited for this next year. So I guess we'll really just see what it holds. Um, and I don't know. Maybe it's just due to this pandemic. Maybe there's too much free time with these companies, I guess, and not enough feedback from artists. I'm not really sure. But I think, yeah, what worried me the most was the new algorithm with the copyright thing and the sampling. That one worried me the most.
Yeah, I know they were saying something too about with the algorithms they were gonna add artist songs to popular playlists, and that was going to
Hmm.
lead to more streams right there. So, how many more streams? That'll be the interesting piece to find that out.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely,
if you
absolutely.
if you get 50 streams a day, where you get like 100, or we get 500, what does that look like?
Hmm. Hmm. Now, what what else did I have? I had some show notes for us as well. Hold on here. Or I guess actually, I'm gonna hold off on my notes. Anything you wanted to bring up in the kind of producer hour? Anything on your mind, or any topics or anything?
Well, you mentioned you use Logic. How long have you been using Logic?
So it'll be a year to this month. I started using Logic last December. I
Okay.
was producing on iOS for about 2 years before that. Um, and it was before iOS got the new kind of integration. Like I had to use audio copy, an actual computer to get my samples on, and I was running a full studio, like with all my production equipment, a mic booth, interface, all that jazz. And I felt like I kind of hit a wall at a point in time. So I decided to move over to Logic. But now iOS is so advanced that I could run what I was doing 2 years ago on an iPad today. Most definitely.
Yeah, man. I mean, I love going back and forth because I feel like just with the different workflows and the whole hands-on way you can produce using an iPad, like still
Mm-hmm.
being able to tweak knobs and move sliders and things like that, and just the fact that a lot of the synths and plugins are much more or less expensive as on a
Yeah.
computer. I mean, I wish years ago when I first started producing, iOS really was a thing. So I started producing like in '05, and
Mm-hmm.
iOS I didn't
And you
really
said you
find
were on the first. You were on the first before it was Logic, right? What did you name it, or what did you call it? You talked about it before.
GarageBand. Yeah,
GarageBand. Yeah.
GarageBand. I actually started on Reason, and then it was Logic 8, and then I did Logic 9, and then
Yeah.
we are at 10 right now, and it's I like where it's came and where it's going. I know a lot more people now are using Logic than when I first started.
Uh huh. And what's funny is I posted a meme. I don't know if you're big on Reddit, but I'm in the Logic Studio subreddit, and I posted a meme on there that kind of blew up. It got a nice amount of comments and everything. And you know, the Spotify Unwrapped they give you at the end of the year for artists, where it's like streams, hours, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
It was a kid, and it said that one kid with FL Studio and a MIDI keyboard. It's a kid in front of the computer screen. And it's like 148 million streams, and then the other one's like an older guy. That guy with a ton of analog gear, 526 streams. Yeah, you get it. But the guy said it's funny because he's using Logic 9, the guy with the MIDI keyboard.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to get busy in the comments and start a whole new discussion, but what are kind of the big differences, Logic 8, 9, 10? Has it just been like a basic evolution in a way, or?
Yeah, I mean, there never used to be like the Alchemy plugin, like in 10. They didn't have that in 9 and previous, and they even brought that over to GarageBand as well. And then,
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Alchemy is a monster. Yeah.
yeah, I love Alchemy. And also the iPad integration, like using Logic Remote. And
Oh, yep.
that's kind of evolved over time. Used to be you could have just used it as a mixer, and then now you can use it as a MIDI controller. Um, the only thing I wish that they would do is allow you to be able to pull up your plugins in it, but you know, eventually, who knows, it could come.
I think with the M1 Mac and with how powerful these iPhones are, I don't think it's that far away.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And the fact that I think also a lot of the plugins are becoming available, so that may integrate somehow with the from the iPad integration to Logic Remote. We'll see. And then outside of that, I just think that the sound libraries have gotten better. I like the new sampler. It's a little bit more you can do as far as being able to manipulate your sample, fades, different pitches, and just the whole layout's a little bit different than it used to be. A little bit harder to do in the previous versions of Logic. And then I
Yeah.
also like the live loops function now that originally started out on the iPad, and then they brought it to the Mac this past year, which let's just say you make a beat and you using live loops to basically you trigger your live loops to kind of build your song, and it gives you some DJ effects, like you can scratch, you can add a bit crusher, and you can speed it up or slow it down. It has a lot of other effects on there that you can switch to, and they brought that from GarageBand on iPad to Logic on the Mac now. That was one of the things that I felt like I was like, okay, well, GarageBand is almost starting to be just as good as Logic at this point.
For free.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, I gotta admit, I have not updated Logic to the new version. Just one of those people that get kind of worried about updating everything. Because I remember when I transferred over everything from the MacBook to my iMac, I lost a lot of MPC essential stuff, which is where I do my drums in.
Yeah.
So I had to rebuild a lot of things when transferring over, and you know, I'm sure the integration is flawless with the new update, but I haven't been able to experience those features myself. But I would say GarageBand is getting pretty close to Logic these days.
Yeah, I mean, you can record the whole song from top to bottom, and the only thing I will say is I wish they would have a traditional mixer, like where you can see all of your sliders track by track, but instead the sliders are basically it's weird because you can't see them like next to each other in terms of the sliders. You can't even see the levels unless you select each individual track. So That's the only thing I don't like.
Yeah. And, GarageBand, I've seen it myself. I have an artist who sent me a verse over One Night on a Clockwork MPC, originally just an instrumental album. And it came through super clean. And I asked him, how are you recording? He said on an iPhone mic with iPhone headphones and GarageBand. It sounds almost cleaner than some of these artists who have, a super nice mic with the interface and everything. It just came a really long way.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to. I mean, I know some people that do podcasts off of GarageBand. They'll record it in there first. They don't do it kind of like live or anything, but they'll record it on there first, and then they'll upload it to whatever site or whatever they have their streaming service on.
I remember. I think that's actually how Reshad Radio started out. Reshad used to just do it on his iPhone.
Yeah, it's I mean, I gotta explore it more because it's kind of something I want to get into at some point. But um, it's not a bad tool for music production, podcasting, or whatever you want to do with it.
Yeah. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And I mean, when I started out production, which you have quite a bit more years on me, I started out probably 2013, 2012, probably around there. And what it is now compared to then is a huge world of difference. So I can only imagine for you seeing all this progress since you start making beats in 05, it must be crazy.
Yeah, man, it's just it blows my mind. Like I remember saving $1,000 to buy my first Mac in
Mm-hmm.
2006, and now I mean you can get an iPad for $400 or $500 and start
Yep.
making beats right now.
Yep. Straight up. Straight up. I bought my iPad. It was what was it, a 2016, 2017, maybe something like that. And it was stock, this original iPad, and I got busy with that thing. I mean, it was insane. I got it on Black Friday. I think it was like $2, maybe.
Yep.
So, this is insanity, man. Insanity. But I guess we'll end here on a strong note. Um, I guess any dates you want to plug in right now, or any upcoming things you want to plug in?
Really just to stay tuned for a couple of the videos coming up. First video is going to
Mm-hmm.
shoot is going to be for Chill Vibes, first single off of the Quarantine Files album. And then from there, I don't know which other ones I'm going to do, but definitely stay tuned for that one. Going to start also shooting videos for the name of the project with MA is called Raptivist, like activist, but Raptivist.
Raptivist. Okay,
Yeah.
dope. Okay,
And
I'll ride with it.
we gonna start shooting some videos as well for that. So probably gonna see a lot of stuff coming up on my YouTube channel very soon, as well as IGTV. Follow me in either
And
place.
where can they find you at on the social media? What's your ads on those?
Yes, you can find me at d.mme on Twitter, d.
Yep.
underscore major music on Instagram,
Yep.
and then YouTube. Find me at Major Music TV, and
Okay.
that channel not only for like my music videos, but if you're a producer that likes like music production tutorials and beat making videos and just talk about music production in general, I like to post maybe some of the latest gear, latest expansion packs, things like that.
Mm.
My experiences, so definitely check that out. You could follow that channel on there. And I appreciate
Dope.
everybody that's been showing love. Yourself, Reshad Radio.
Yes,
Keep you
sir. Big
guys
shout out
keep doing
Reshad
what you
Radio.
do.
Yep. All right. It's been a pleasure, D. Dot. Till next time, man.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Yeah, you as well. Peace.
Peace.